What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Volkswagen Golf R. So on the 2024 Golf R, we don't have a lot of changes from the previous model year, but we do expect big changes coming next year. One of those big ones being the removal of the optional 6-speed manual transmission. If you guys really want the manual transmission on the Golf R, which I know a lot of people really like, definitely go out and pick up a 2024 because this is going to be your last bet. There are two different transmission options here. You have the 6-speed manual transmission on 2024, or you can get the 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, which is what we have on this model right here. There's like a few little benefits to getting the automatic. The 0 to 60 time is a little bit faster, right around 3.9 seconds on the automatic transmission. So if you did want that just a little extra bit in the 0 to 60 time, definitely check out the automatic, which we'll be doing on this model here. But let's go ahead and just walk through everything that this model has to offer. Now, because this is the Golf R, there's basically only one trim level. And again, what you're deciding between is which transmission you want. The automatic transmission is going to be a little bit more expensive than the manual transmission, but not by a whole lot. So really, you're just picking your color and which transmission you want. You don't have a lot of differing option packages. So everything we talk about will pretty much be standard if you pick up a Golf R outside of that transmission. Now, if we start up front here, you've got a full set of LED headlights with LED daytime running lights, and you have this LED light bar that runs across the front. It's right here underneath your blue R accent strip right here, and you'll see that blue accent find its way into all different aspects of the vehicle, and I think it's a really nice contrast piece, but it sits right above this LED light bar. Got a big Volkswagen badge here in the center, a pretty minimal front grille. You don't have those kind of, accent fog lights that you have on the regular GTI. You just have kind of a blank accent area down here. You do have some nice ventilation down at the bottom and a little body colored lip, but not a lot of intricacies here on the front grille outside of this blue accent trim piece, the R badge right here, and again, your Volkswagen badge. You do have parking sensors, not a ton of super intricate body lines either. The hood is pretty minimal, just have a couple leading lines on the side, nothing super intricate though. Now, under the hood of every single Golf R, you're going to have the same turbocharged 2.0 liter inline 4, 315 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. That's up from the previous generation, which had 288 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque, and you're going to get 31 miles per gallon highway, 22 miles per gallon city for a combined 25 mpg. And again, that can either be paired with the 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission or the 6-speed manual transmission. The Golf R here sits on these 19-inch wheels with summer tires on them. You also have blue painted front calipers with the R logo, and you also have blue painted rear calipers, but those don't have the R logo on there. And I think having the blue accent on the front grille and on the brakes there is a nice little contrast, especially with this all black color. And you have little R badges on your wheels as well, which are nice. The wheel design's pretty simple, but it's very open, so you can see inside. You can see those big brakes with the nice bright blue calipers. So they're super effective, although they're not super intricate. You have more R badging right here. You have these satin mirror caps here. They are power folding, integrated turn signals, blind spot monitoring. They've got puddle lighting up underneath. They are heated as well. So you've got keyless access here on the sides of the doors. You can just push your finger right here. It will go ahead and lock up. Your mirrors will fold right in for you. Then you can put your hand inside and it will unlock, and those mirrors will fold out for you. Up top, you have a panoramic tilting and sliding sunroof. It looks really, really nice. And again, this is like the Golf R. This is the hot hatch. Just not a lot of aggressive lines. You just have this one line that runs all the way across the vehicle. It's not like the Civic Type R or whatever. It doesn't have that much aggression to it. It's a little bit more subdued, and I think that kind of fits in line with what Volkswagen does. They make these just very clean cut, not very like funky. Well, they do make funky stuff. The ID4, the ID Buzz, and that stuff, type of stuff is funky. But on their traditional internal combustion lines, they don't get too crazy anymore, at least. Obviously, they made the Bug. All right, so moving here to the back of the Golf R, you'll notice a couple things. This big 2-piece spoiler up here really stands out. You have a pretty compact rear glass here, but you do have a rear wiper. LED tail lights to complement your LED headlights in the front. Little R badge right here, dead center. Not a lot of other accents besides that R-line badge. Parking sensors here, some reflectors, and then you do have quad active exhaust tips that border this little diffuser down at the bottom, which look really nice and they sound incredible. And this is one of those really awesome Volkswagen badges. They used to have them a lot more on older models, but here on the more modern vehicles, you don't see it that often, but it's the one you can actually use as the handle for your lift gate. So it will work as the handle there, but when you put the vehicle into reverse, it will actually flip around and the rear camera will stick out through it. I really like that. It's a really cool touch. Using the logo as a handle is such a good idea, and it works really well here. So no power lift gate on the Golf R. You don't really need it. It's not that necessary. But when you do open up the lift gate here, you get access to quite a bit of cargo carrying capability. 19.9 cubic feet with the rear seats up. If you fold those down, you get 34.9 cubic feet, which is a ton in such a compact vehicle like this. Now back here, we have a couple cool things. We have the cloth mats that have your blue R trim around them. They're really nice, but we also have optioned on the monster mats here, and these have the R logo in blue, which looks really, really awesome. Also, we have a first aid kit right here and no spare tire, but we do have a tire inflation kit right here, as well as your jack in these little separate pouches here. We also have Volkswagen's roadside assistance kit, which comes with jumper cables, gloves, band-aids, a light, a whistle, little, triangles to block it off if you need to pull over on the side of the road. So this is super nice. Now we have Volkswagen's cargo protection system. So you have this protective cloth mat, and up under here, like I said, no spare tire, but you do have space for one. So you could put like a donut back here. It just doesn't come with one. You have plenty of space back here to carry everything you'd possibly need to carry on something that is this size. This isn't a family hauler. You're not going to be able to load it up with suitcases or soccer bags and things, but you can fit some, and that's really all you can ask for on something that's this size. But let's go ahead, close her up, and hop inside. All right, so hopping inside this beautiful cabin, I think the things that are really gonna stand out to people are the little blue accents everywhere, a little glowing one on the steering wheel, but also just how minimal but sporty this cabin is. I'm a big fan of it. Again, pretty minimal, not a lot of contrast outside of those blue accents, but I think that allows them to really shine. But let's go ahead and just work our way across, talk about everything. Over on the door panels, pretty minimal material quality. It's a little bit cheap feeling. Plastic up top, I guess a soft touch rubber is probably a better descriptor. And then you have kind of this like faux carbon fiber, but it's really just plastic. And that runs across the door panels over onto the dash, all the way across the other doors. And you have those little carbon gray accents in other places like here on the steering wheel as well, and they contrast really nicely with all of the little blue accents. But then you have a little bit of leather material, and then it's basically just black plastic from knees down, and that works its way across the whole cabin. But not a lot of creaks and cracks, pretty solid, just a little bit minimal on the quality of materials here. Same with the locks and the controls. Everything's just a little bit on the cheaper side. Just want you guys to be informed. You do have a 9-speaker Harman Kardon audio system down here though. Your lighting controls up here on this little accented dash area, and these are touch capacitive, so you can turn on your automatic headlights, you can turn on your poor weather lighting, you can turn on your defoggers right there. My biggest complaint with that is it is piano black plastic, so gonna be super fingerprint heavy, especially you're gonna be touching that pad all the time controlling your lights. So it's probably best to just set those things on auto, let the vehicle do it so you're not leaving a ton of fingerprints over there. But that gloss plastic runs all the way across the dash, and it's down here on the center console area. You guys know how I feel about that. Piano black plastic is the worst possible texture to use on anything that you have to come in contact with. It's a dust magnet, fingerprint magnet, but these vehicle manufacturers continue to do it. Can't explain why, but they do, and we're stuck with it here on the Golf R as well. Now, right in front of me here, you have a beautiful leather-wrapped steering wheel. This is a sporty kind of flat bottom style steering wheel with the accentuated perforations on the grips. You do have paddle shifters past that with your Tiptronic mode, light and wiper controls past that. Nice textured Volkswagen horn right in the center. Some nice kind of matte gray plastic that wraps the bottom, and then you have your R badge as well as that little blue accent. You also have blue accent stitching that runs around the inside of the steering wheel, and you have this little glowing blue R right here on the steering wheel, which is super clean little touch, and you can actually click that button to put it into R mode. This is a heated steering wheel, and you do have your touch capacitive controls here. Again, they're piano black plastic, not my favorite. You have your travel assist and your adaptive cruise system on the left side, and then all your controls for your little 10-inch driver information cluster in front of me right here on that. So if we go ahead and we turn the vehicle on, it is the beautiful up-to-date Volkswagen infotainment system. You can switch through all of these different pages and see different views, and you have different layouts just depending on what information you want to see as a driver. You can do full screen navigation on there. You can see your driver assistance systems on there. You can see one that's a little bit more modern, one that's a little bit cleaner, Totally up to you, the super sporty one with your little R badge in the middle, and it's all really tailored to that sports car experience. So you've got one that has kind of your RPMs, boost gauge, your vehicle angle, all that kind of stuff. That's a really cool one to do in this mode. And all the little colored accents that you see on there can all be adjusted based on what driving mode you're in, or completely custom with 30 different optional colors you can choose from on the infotainment system. Moving on over, we do have a 10-inch infotainment display as well, and this has Volkswagen's most up-to-date infotainment system to it. So really nice, fluid, modern looking system. I'm not sure if they've updated it for 2024 to be the most fluid version where there's less lag, but I haven't noticed much of it in the minimum time I've been using it. I'm seeing it being very responsive, not lagging between switching apps. And we're going to talk a lot about the features inside of this infotainment display in my secret features video on the Golf R coming soon, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss that. It may already be out by the time you're watching this video, so I'll have it linked in the description. But it has all your standard radio, phone, Bluetooth, navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, your ambient lighting, climate control. You have your rear camera system and your parking sensors all around your vehicle. You also have your parking assist feature as well, so lots of great features on that infotainment system and a lot of nice customization options as well. If we move on down, you have some touch capacitive buttons right here that control your climate system as well as the volume or radio stations. Those are sliders right there. And then we have more touch capacitive buttons down under that, one for your park assist, one for your parking menu, one for climate control, and one for your driving mode. If we click the driving mode button, you've got custom, comfort, sport, and then under the race mode, you actually have two different ones. You have a special and you have drift. So yeah, you do have a very specific drift mode. I'm not going to activate it and I'm not going to try it because I don't own this vehicle and I don't know how to drift, but I know that you can on this vehicle. We move on past that, you've got two USB-C ports here, and you have a Qi-enabled wireless charging device on this very angular little pad down here. If you've watched my Atlas or my Atlas Crossport videos, you know about the redesigned center console area here. So you no longer have the shift column here, unless you of course get the 6-speed manual mode, then you'll have a manual shift knob. But here you just have this shift by wire pad, updated push to start engine button. Your park is an actual button, and then your rear, neutral, drive, and sport is this little toggling lever here. Then you have an electronic parking brake past that. Really tiny little narrow pocket on the side here. And then you do have some cup holders here. Basically like two cup holders, they're different shapes, and this one opens up so you have more space, and then you can push this button and it will kind of close itself off to hold smaller bottles. Right in the center here, you've got your 12-volt outlet, and then under your center console here, you have a little bit of a pocket. It's pretty small, but you could put some extra stuff in there if you need additional storage. You also have a traditional glove box right over there on the side, and then you have vents, and they're all on the same level here, running across the center of the dash here. So one on the side, two in the middle, and then one over on the passenger side as well. Auto dimming rear view mirror here, and then you have your touch capacitive LED dome lights and your sunroof controls as well with a little swipe. Black liner up top. Now, as far as the climate control goes, you have a Climatronic Touch 3-zone climate control system. So individually adjustable driver, passenger, and rear passenger climate options, and you have climate controls in the back seat as well. That's super rare on a vehicle that's this size. Now, as far as the seating surfaces go, these are a Titan Black Napa leather sport seats with your kind of Golf R accents. So you have this two-tone look with the blue accent on the back of the seats, some blue piping on the sides, your blue R badge in the center, perforations, and then this really cool kind of carbon fiber texture on the sides. These are super comfortable, super sporty, and bolstered seats. The driver and passenger are both heated and ventilated seats. The driver is a power adjustable seat with position memory. The passenger seat is a manually adjustable seat, but it does have a power reclining option. And then in the second row, you have heated outboard seats. Standard on every Golf R is Volkswagen's IQ Drive system. This features travel assist, which is one of my favorite semi-autonomous driving systems, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, lane assist, emergency assist, front assist with emergency braking, pedestrian and cyclist monitoring, active blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert. You also have things like hill hold control, lighting assist, dynamic road sign display, park assist and park distance controller, obviously that rear view camera system, and plenty of other really nice advanced safety systems. You also have a heads-up display up here. It's pretty minimal, but it's a nice touch to have. All right, so hopping into the back seat here, it's pretty small. But again, we're talking about a compact hot hatch here, so you're not expecting a ton of rear legroom. So I can put my legs up underneath the front seat here. You've got 2 phone holders back here and a map pocket as well. You can put all kinds of stuff back here if you want to. This seat, I could probably move it up a tiny bit for my 6'1" size. Gonna be a more comfortable position, probably. So this gives you a pretty accurate representation of what it's gonna be like. If you're a little bit taller, if you're 6'3", 6'4", probably gonna have a little bit less, but you can see I probably have like an inch or an inch and a half of knee room here. I have good headroom, but not great shoulder room. Again, this is a super small SUV here. Really, 2 adults back here is gonna probably be the max. If you absolutely had to cram back here and get from place to place, you could put 3 adults back here. 3 kids even is gonna be a little bit cramped, but you definitely could do it. But this isn't really meant for that, right? This is not a family vehicle necessarily. You do have this fold down here with 2 cup holders, maybe 2.5 if you want to put something super small in the center. And then you have the, little pass through here so you can fit larger objects into the trunk area. The seating surfaces, again, are super comfortable. These are not the same seating surface that are up front, but you still have a nice kind of leather material back here with a little bit of that carbon fiberish trim on the sides. Again, the outboard seats are heated, and you do have adjustable climate control back here with rear vents right here, which again, not always the case in a vehicle that is this size. Door panel materials are pretty much all plastic. Up top, hard plastic, a little bit of a leather accent, little speaker, and then all the way down is basically just plastic after that. But again, these are super comfortable seats. Hooks, dome lights, 2 USB-C ports down at the bottom. Again, those heated seat buttons. And that's pretty much it. Pretty minimal back here. But again, it's not uncomfortable. It's just pretty compact, so something to keep in mind. All right, let's take the Golf R here for a little test drive. Get a start up. So one thing I noticed is that when you go into your drive modes, you can switch between comfort, sport, and when you do, your exhaust sound actually changes. You can probably hear that get super aggressive there in special. So we'll leave it in that just for the best exhaust sound here. But yeah, let's go ahead and toggle us into drive here and get going. You can already feel when you're in that special mode how sensitive the acceleration is. This thing is very quick. Here we go. Yep, that's quick. And you'd expect it, 315 horsepower. You can definitely tell the, almost like the traction control isn't on in that special mode. We'll go ahead and switch it back over to regular sport mode. But this thing is an absolute blast to drive. Really comfortable, really quick, very sporty and aggressive. I've thoroughly enjoyed the time that I've spent with it so far. I love the graphics package on the infotainment display. I love the graphics package on the driver information center. All of it's great. Volkswagen does an excellent job with that. And it's just such a fun vehicle to drive. So responsive, so sporty, so quick, just a blast. Again, this little R button here will put it into race mode. We don't really need that because we're not going to drift this thing or anything like that. Nice and easy to access right here. Well, let's go ahead and try out the travel assist, which is one of my favorite systems. If you guys have been following the channel for any duration of time, activate it. There we go. Set. There we go. So what I love most about travel assist is how nice the animations are. They're very accurate to life, and they give you a really good representation of what's going on in front of you, and everything works really, really well. Like taking tight turns works super well. Slowing down when vehicles in front of you slow down works super well. Accelerating back up, all that good stuff works, and all of the representations on screen are super accurate of where the vehicles are in front of you, all that kind of stuff. But this turn up here is pretty tight. Let's see how it does. Oh, it almost did it. Almost. It was close. That's a real tight turn. I'll give it a pass on that. That was pretty good. Let's see if it does this one. Oh, yeah. It took that most of the way. I think it has to do with the speed thing. Like if it was going like 25 miles an hour, I think it would have done it. But I think I was just going a little fast for that turn. But this system really does work well. It'll take some pretty tight turns for you, but I love using that. It's mainly meant for highway driving where there's not a lot of sharp curves like that, but it does work really well. It's a fun system to use. Now the Golf R here is not exactly cheap. This one stickers around $46,000. It's pretty expensive for the size of this vehicle. You know, typically vehicles that are that expensive are much larger, but for this you're really paying paying for speed, the hot hatch kind of namesake there. You know, some of the technology, some of the driver assistance features, some of that, but you can get that stuff on cheaper models. You're paying for like some labels almost, and for that 315 horsepower engine. If you just need something that's still quick, has a lot of these same technology features, but isn't quite that expensive, you can get a GTI Autobahn edition for like 41. So something to keep in mind if you like the look, you like the functionality, but you just don't need all that power and you want something similar size that's a little bit less fast, but still pretty nice in the same segment, you can go that route. I would have liked to see a little bit better materials inside the cabin for that $46,000 price point. It's a lot of hard black plastic or gray plastic, either way. You know, even like the carbon fiber elements or faux carbon fiber elements, so it's a little disappointing in that regard. But I know the reason a lot of people get these is to get the manual mode and to have that super quick, super loud exhaust, have a vehicle with a manual shift knob. And there's not many of those anymore. So I know that's why a lot of people get these Golf Rs. It's a really nice vehicle, again, really fun to drive. I just think for that $46,000 price point, you could have gotten away with higher end materials inside the cabin, outside of the seating surfaces. They're really nice and premium, and they look good too. Now, as far as visibility goes, this is a very wide open front windshield. You do have a really tiny pocket window up here. It's basically impossible to see from a normal angle. Like this would be your normal angle. You can't really see it. You have to kind of come around to be able to see it. So it doesn't really get in the way at all. You can still see your mirror, have full access to that. Nice big windows, not a lot of blockage. It's hard to see with me in the way, but the rear window's pretty small, but you can still see out of it pretty well. As far as usability of the infotainment, it's driver centric. It's angled towards me a little bit. Everything works really well. Even the touch capacitive buttons, although a lot of people don't like them, they're really not that hard to get used to, but they do get a lot of fingerprints on them, so just something to keep in mind. Again, more piano black plastic here that is hard to keep clean, but it does, I guess, look okay. And then this shift-by-wire pad I love because it's very similar to what I have in my 2022 Chevy Bolt, but I know some people prefer a standard shift knob, but you can get that if you opt for the manual transmission. So overall, like I said, really fun vehicle to drive. If you want a quick, packed with technology, nice premium seating surface, Volkswagen hot hatch, then go with this. If you want similar features, but you don't want to shell out $46K, maybe go for a lower trim GTI. But nonetheless, I love what Volkswagen's doing with the technology, with the functionality, and with the look of the Golf R here. So definitely check it out. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like in the video if you loved it. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about the 2024 Volkswagen Golf R? Are you going to be picking one up? Do you already have one? Are you waiting for 2025? Let's talk about it down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.